Good day everyone, I am Jore-mae, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. I'm discussing about the topic in contemporary literature. When we talk about contemporary literature, we are describing writing during a specific time period. What is contemporary literature? Contemporary literature is defined as literature written after World War II through the current day. While this is a vague definition, there is not a clear-cut explanation of this concept, only interpretation by scholars and academics. While there is some disagreement, most agree that contemporary literature is writing completed after 1940. So, the word contemporary means living, belonging to, or occurring in the present. So when we talk about contemporary literature, we are talking about literature that is being written in the now, about the now. So, this conflict was so clearly highlighted by the perception that the Civil War was a rich man's war and a poor man's fight, that growing numbers of oppressed whites and blacks openly rebelled against Confederate authority, undermining the fight for independence. After the war, however, the upper classes encouraged enmity between freed people and poor whites to prevent a class revolution. Trapped by racism and poverty, the poor remain in virtual economic slavery, still dominated by an almost unchanged planter elite. So, in the works of contemporary literature, reflect a society's social and or political viewpoints, shown through realistic characters, connections to current events and socio-economic messages. The writers are looking for trends that illuminate societal strengths and weaknesses to remind society of lessons they should learn and questions they should ask. So, when we think of contemporary literature, we cannot simply look at a few themes or settings. Since society changes over time, so do the content and messages of this writing. When we talk about this picture, this contemporary literature, and the start date of this label, we have to acknowledge World War II and the surrounding events, the horrors of the war, including bombs, ground wars, genocide, and corruption, are the pathways to this type of literature. It is from these real-life themes that we find the beginning of a new period of writing. The term contemporary literature refers to a vast group of written works produced from a specific time in history. Through the current age, this literary era defines a time period, but it also describes a particular style and quality of writing. This image, most agreed that the era of contemporary literature began in the 1960s. A few scholars claim this period started at the end of World War II, and this is where the pairing with postmodern literatures comes in. The postmodern era began after World War II in the 1940s and lasted to the 1960s. The contemporary literature period extends to the current day. Much of contemporary literature comes from Western authors. However, the term is not synonymous with English or American literature. This literary period can apply to written works from anywhere in the world. In fact, globalization opened the door to include contemporary works written by many literary figures in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. This is the characteristics It contains characters that behave the way most readers would. The characters must be believable. The story is set in the present. The setting is a real place, or at least seems like a real place. The events are events that could happen in real life. Dialogue is informal and conversational and often includes regional dialects. Work in this contemporary literature mainly includes believable stories with a base in reality. The characters are strong and believable, while the setting is modern era. Moreover, stories in contemporary literature are considered to be more character-driven than plot-driven. Some genres of this period include flash fiction, slim poetry memoirs, autobiographies, novels, and poetry. Moreover, studies in contemporary literature typically also include a variety of topics such as African American literature, post-colonial literature, and Latin literature. In other words, one can study contemporary works written by many literary figures in Asia, Middle East, and Africa when learning contemporary literature. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Click here, like, and subscribe.